Hello, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. I am holding my mic because I keep having sound issues. I do not know if it's my shirt. I don't know if it's rubbing. Uh, so I'm trying to make this video for the third time, hopefully the third and final time. I hope everyone is doing well. I hope that this actually works so I don't have to record this for the 45th time. But yeah, today I'm gonna do a song review. I haven't done one in a while. I did My Heart Belongs to Daddy like months ago. I don't remember how many months ago. But today I want to do a Beatles song. I don't think I've ever listened to an entire Beatles song by itself. I've heard clips of them, but I haven't listened to a full song by itself. So we're gonna review the song Yesterday by them. It was released August 6th, 1965 on their UK album Help, and it was released as a single in September of that year for the US. It was written by Paul McCartney and credited to Lennon McCartney, which was his partnership with his bandmate John Lennon. I already said that. The song reached number 1 in the U.S. charts, and it appeared on its own EP in March 1996. And then it also had its album debut on Yesterday and Today, which released in June 1966. McCartney's vocal and acoustic guitar together with a string quartet essentially made for the first solo performance of the band. So it's only him singing on the song. It remains popular today with 2,200 cover versions, and it's one of the most covered songs in history. When I was researching for this, some places said it was the most covered song, but then I also saw Amazing Grace being the most covered song ever. So basically, it's one of the most covered songs. Yesterday was voted the best song of the 20th century in 1999 on a BBC Radio 2 poll by music experts and listeners, and was also voted number 1 pop song of all time by MTV and Rolling Stone magazine the next year. In 1997, it was inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame. Broadcast Music Incorporated asserts it was performed over 7 million times in the 20th century. That's a lot. Yesterday is a melancholy ballad about a breakup of a relationship. The singer nostalgically laments for yesterday when he and his love were together before she left because of something he said. Like I said, McCartney's the only person to appear on the track. They originally didn't really like it. They said it sounded too different from what they had made before, so they didn't include it as a single for the UK album. So they vetoed it. They basically voted it out. But of course, it went on to become a US single. And it also became a single in the UK in 1976 and peaked at number 8. So I'm going to give my overall opinion on the original version. It might be a little controversial. We'll see. I feel like to me the song's enjoyable, but I wouldn't say it was super good. However, it wasn't super bad to me either. I feel like it's not super generic, but still not super unique to me either. I don't hate it or love it. I feel like perfectly stuck in the middle for the original version. So I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. I think the song being so simple makes it easy to cover because there's so much you can add to it to make it unique. And I also wrote a poem. It's a Senryu. I'm going to put the form in the in the caption like I always do, or description. So a Senryu is called a human haiku. It's the same format, the 575 syllables for the 3 lines. But it is usually in present tense and refers to human nature or emotions, where haikus talk about nature or seasonal things. Which, when I researched this poetry form, they say a lot of people think they're writing haikus, but they're really writing Senryus, which I definitely fall under that category because I have definitely called something a haiku, but it wasn't talking about nature. So, I didn't realize, how strict some of these poetry forms are. So, yeah. So the first poem is called Me and My Shadow. I looked up synonyms for the word alone, and Me and My Shadow came up. So I thought that was really interesting. So that's what I called the poem. I wished I just listened to what you wanted, but now I'm alone. So that's the first poem for the original version. So the first cover version I looked at was Ray Charles. And here's my opinion. I feel like Ray Charles' voice makes this version very interesting and layered. I still have my main feelings about the song, but Ray does give it like a bit more emotion. So I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. I do wish he added more of his own style because it's slightly more elevated to me, and the music is more dramatic as well. Excuse me. So this poem is called Misty Blue. You made me blue when you went away, and I need you to come back to me. Also, I might have broken some of the, syllable rules to get my message across. So, yeah. So the next cover is In Vogue. I really love In Vogue. I love the harmonies they do on this version, and the music is a lot more upbeat, and I think this adds more layer to the song and elevates it more. And it seems like even though this is only the second cover I had listened to, like it seemed like each artist kept adding little by little to make it more interesting. So I would give this one a 7 out of 10. I feel like they definitely made this version their own and very unique. So the poem I wrote is called Hollow Heart. So a little alliteration in there. I am overcome by your absence. When will you be back to me, love? So yeah, they're trying to get their lover back. So the next version I gonna talk about is Frank Sinatra. They also have an Elvis version, but I was like, I'm not really a huge fan of Elvis, at least not anymore, since learning so many things about him. But if there is something controversial about Frank Sinatra, let me know, because I don't really know much about his personal life. I heard a lot of his music, but yeah, if there's something controversial he's done, please let me know. But so right now, I do like Frank Sinatra. So I'm going to talk about his version. For some reason, this is sadder than the original. Frank was about to have me crying in bed, and I'm like, LOL, about to be sobbing in my bed. The music makes it more melancholy as well, and it also has a dreamy quality to it, and I really enjoyed this version. I think Frank definitely made it unique to his style for sure, and I gave that one an 8 out of 10. So my poem for this version is called Love Paralysis. It's like a play on sleep paralysis. So it's called, so here it goes. Walking around like I'm living in a nightmare. Please let me wake up. So the next version I'm going to talk about is Aretha Franklin's version. I really love me some Aretha Franklin. I think that she was just so talented, so wonderful. She's one of my favorite singers of all time. I could say so many wonderful things about this woman. So this version also makes me want to cry, LOL. I love that Aretha had her own signature sound on this cover and even made it sound like gospel-y at times. If you don't know, she also started singing like in the church, so that does make sense. And she also had her album Amazing Grace, which I've seen that documentary twice about the album, and I think it's really interesting. I really like it. I will say at some points it's kind of like, they're going through the motions of like setting up things and, getting her ready. And it's not always the most exciting at all parts, but she definitely is singing her heart out, of course. So even though I don't feel like her delivery and the music changed that much for this cover version, I can still feel her emotions are like raw in this cover. And I think this is my favorite version so far, even though I still had one more version to go. I was going to call it, and I was like, we'll see if I change my mind, LOL. And I'm going to give this version a 9 out of 10. Also, this is the only version I heard that was live. Everybody else's was recorded. I don't know if there's a recorded version of this song for her, but yeah, it was live, so it was really nice. So this poem's called Broken. I believed that you and I would always be one. Now I'm in pieces. So the next cover is another band, Boys to Men. Once again, the harmonies are hidden on this version. I wonder why they decided to make it a cappella though, because it does make the words stand out more. This also says that it's, when I researched it, it was like an outro for one of their albums. I would say I don't feel the emotions as much as I did for the last two covers with Aretha and Frank. I would say it's much more layered with all the harmonies though. And I would give this version like a 6 out of 10. Like, it sounds great, but I don't feel like any emotions like from it. So the poem is called Over the Limit. Everyone has their breaking point, and I see that yesterday was yours. So yeah, do you guys like the Beatles? Are they your favorite band? Are they your least favorite band? Do you love them? Do you hate them? Let me know in the comments. Also, there's a movie called Yesterday. I think it's based on like the whole like entire Beatles catalog. I think I have not really read the synopsis, but from like I was trying to look up a thumbnail, and yeah, it says basically, I guess something happens where the Beatles don't exist, and so like that's one of the plot points. So I feel like that's really interesting. But yeah, if you've seen the movie, let me know what you think of the movie. If you love the Beatles, like I said, if you hate them, if you're like me and you're like don't really have an opinion on them right now because I haven't heard like an entire album by them or like an entire like discography by them, which I'm sure their discography is like probably huge. So yeah, let me know what y'all think about them and what you think about the song Yesterday, and I'll see you all next week.